Members, you're very welcome along to the planning committee today. Can I hand over now to Andrea to read out the notice and summons of meeting? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Dear members of the Planning Committee, you are hereby summoned to attend a special meeting of the Planning Committee to be held in the Council Chamber, Strabane, on Thursday, the 19th of September 2024 at 2 p.m. I'll just do member attendance and apologies. Alderman Keith Kerrigan.
Here, Alder.
Alderman Neary McMorris.
Apologies.
Alderman Janice Montgomery, his apologies as well. Councillor John Boyle, his apologies. Councillor Caroline Devine.
Sure.
Councillor Sean Fleming.
And Sean.
And we have apologies from Councillor Paul Gallagher and apologies from Councillor Christopher Jackson. Councillor Fergal Leonard.
Sure.
Councillor Patricia Logue. Councillor Sean Minney. Councillor Patrick Murphy. Councillor Martin Riley. And Councillor Grayson Ellis.
And sure.
Thank you, members.
Thank you, Andre. I'll just read for you now the broadcasting statement. I'd like to remind everyone present that this meeting will be broadcast live to the internet and will be capable of repeated viewing. Broadcast may be terminated or suspended in accordance with our protocol. If you're seated in the public seating media areas, it is possible that the recording cameras will capture your image, and this will result in the possibility that your image will become part of the broadcast. By entering the council chamber and using the press or public seating area, you are consenting to be filmed and consenting to the use and storage of those images for webcasting or training purposes and for the purpose of keeping historical records and making those records available to the public. And a copy of the council privacy notice is available on the council website. Can I ask with any declarations of members' interest at this stage? None. Okay, moving on to chairman's business. I haven't received anything. So I'll just move on now to the planning application for consideration today. It's LE 11 bar 2023 bar 1729 bar F, and Rosie will be taking us through this one. Just for anybody that is watching online, just to let you know, we're experiencing some small technical difficulty and we hope to resume very shortly. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, members. Item 1 is LA 11 2023 1729 RM, and this is a reserved matters application for one IT service and data centre building, substation compounds, generators, switchgear and transformers, together with internal access roads, vehicular access, car parking, security perimeter fencing and gatehouses, external site lighting and associated works on lands east and west of Maydown Road, situated approximately 150 metres north and northwest of number 23 Maydown Road. The recommendation is to approve, and the application is before you today as this application falls into the category of major development. So the site is located on the Maydown Road Industrial Estate, and outline approval was granted by the Planning Committee for 4 IT data centres on the 17th of June 2020. And it's advised that the site is selected for IT data centre provision due to its proximity to the project Kelvin Transatlantic Fibre, which will allow fast international data connectivity between Northern Ireland and America. And this reserved matters application is for one IT data centre located here in Orange on the eastern side of the Maydown Road. Members, you'll be aware that when we're dealing with a reserved matters application, that consideration is restricted to those matters that have been reserved for approval at reserved matters stage, and we don't revisit the principle of the development which has already been established. So outline approval was granted for a subject to a number of conditions which required the submission of detailed information at reserved matters stage, and these included the siting, the design, the external appearance of the buildings, the means of access to the site, landscaping, and then there were conditions as well in respect of site levels, boundary treatments, parking and servicing, service management plan, and a construction environmental management plan to include a detailed drainage plan. So the planning report sets out the consideration of the reserved matters information against the various planning policies, which are summarised here. And the application was subject to consultation with the consultees as summarised here. And there were several amendments to the plans and reports during the processing of the application, but the consultees now advise no objection. So in terms of the siting of the IT data centre, in this case, we're dealing with one building here on the eastern side of the Maydown Road. And this layout, as shown, is in general conformity with what was presented at outline stage. So in terms of the design and external appearance of the building, it's a sizable building which extends over 4 floors. It's 22 metres in height, approximately 145 metres in length, with a gable depth of about 66 metres. So the external form and design of the building is informed by the internal use of each floor of the building. So the ground floor is taken up mainly with the power supply for the building. And above this, then we have the data halls, and lining each side of the facade of the building are air cooling galleries to draw cool air into the building. And then that air is expelled through a number of ducts running along the roof of the building. On the roof of the building itself, there'll be chiller units, electrical and mechanical plant rooms, a green roof, and an array of photovoltaic cells that will provide electricity for the offices in the building and the common areas, the communal areas. And the materials on the exterior of the building, they comprise a mix of contemporary materials which will ensure the building conveys visual interest and it's of a high quality. Condition 3 of the outline approval required plans in respect of site sections and levels. So you'll see the site slopes from the south boundary towards the north. And in the case of the IT building proposed under this application, there'll be a degree of cut so that the building sits approximately 3.6 metres lower on the site than the existing ground level. So the combination, members, of reducing the site levels and the local topography which rises beyond the site, the use of contemporary materials on the building design, all combine to help integrate the building into what is a fairly industrial area. In terms of access, A new access is proposed into the site from the Maydown Road, and it has been determined that visibility displays of 4.5 by 140 metres are achievable. The application will also be subject to determination under the Private Streets Order to ensure that there's a safe and convenient road system within the site and to ensure that improvements along the Maydown Road are delivered. In terms of parking, approximately 65 parking bays are indicated on the plan. And for a building this size, under parking standards would be required that there would be 152 parking spaces. But given the nature of this development and the fact that there'll be only 10 to 15 staff per day, with 30 cycle parking spaces, the parking provisions considered acceptable. There's also servicing arrangements shown within the site, which DFI Roads have determined to be acceptable. In terms of landscaping, the details submitted comprise the planting of native species trees and shrubs, the laying out within the site of the hard surfaced areas, fencing, retaining walls along the site boundary. These are low, only comprising 600 mil with fencing on top. There'll be a landscape buffer, as you can see there, around the boundaries of the site. And we consider that the landscaping is proposed as acceptable. We required a construction environmental management plan as well with the reserve matters application, and this was required to identify all potential pollution risks that might impact on Lough Foyle and the River Foyle to the north of the site, which are European designated sites. And the SEMP sets out the measures to mitigate all these risks or any potential risks. NIA, SES and Lough's agency were consulted, and they're satisfied with the measures as set out in the SEMP, that the project will not have an adverse effect on the integrity of any European site. Regarding drainage and flood risk, the drainage plan shows that there will be that stormwater will be attenuated using subsurface attenuation tanks. That's these purple boxes shown on the plan. And Rivers Agency was consulted, and they're satisfied that there's no real flood risk to the site or outside the site as a result of the drainage proposed. It's proposed to culvert for a short length, a water course that runs along the boundary of the site, and the culvert is required in this case to allow access. Again, in this instance, that culverting is considered acceptable, and no other consultee has raised any objection to that. The agent has also given consideration to sewage disposal, given that NI Water under this application recommended refusal. So it's now proposed to provide attenuation and the treatment plant here that's indicated in red, and NI Water satisfied with that proposal subject to a condition. There is a condition on the outline application requiring that no development take place until the means of sewage disposal is agreed. So there'll be further agreement with NI Water subsequent to if the application is approved today. In terms of residential amenity, further construction environmental management plan was required to show how any residents in the area would be protected from noise, vibration and dust. This was assessed by environmental health and considered to be acceptable. So in conclusion, members, officers considered the details submitted by the agent, the consultation responses received, and the requirements of the relevant planning policies, and recommend approval subject to the conditions set out in the report. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Rosie. We have Mr. Mark McIver with us. If Mark would like to come forward into the chamber now. Well, Mark, you're welcome to the chamber today. You want to address the committee, you have up to 5 minutes to do that, and the committee may have some questions for you then. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here today on behalf of the applicant, Atlantic Hub Property, and we'd like to extend our thanks to the council first and foremost for hosting this meeting today. I know it's been a short notice and it's not easy to get everyone together, so thanks to everyone here. In terms of this site, our first planning application on this site can be dated back to 2018 when we secured permission for a single data center. And that planning permission granted a planning committee actually established the principle for a data center at Foyle Port. So over the past 6 years, we've been working closely with the council planning officers, with statutory consultees, and with stakeholders to deliver the high quality development that's now before you. We don't have anything further to add. We're satisfied and we welcome the planning officer's report that's been presented to you today and the conditions that are recommended therein. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Mark. Members, it's over to yourselves now. If you have any questions here for Mark. Alderman Kerrigan.
Thank you very much, Chair, for allowing me in. And it's nothing major, but it's just a point of clarification, I suppose, that you can give to me. And Rosie has touched on it, and just in regards to the car parking, I know it is envisaged then that there will not be that level of staff on it, because I see in our pack in figure 14, there's a larger map, and when it's zoomed into, there's an area in front of this building, from what I can see there, which it states on the map, area to be regraded and grassed out for future development. So I'm assuming there may well be a potential then, you know, that you may be looking at some stage of putting a further building in there, you know, and I'm just wondering, you know, was there any consideration? Because by the look of it, there is a lie of the land that you could put additional car parking. I'm not looking just a big brute of a car park placed here, but I'm just wondering, is that, do you feel you're content with what you've got and you will not require any further? And even if there is additional development, will it be a similar type of development that you feel that there won't be a need for additional space? And so it's just clarification for my own mind. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you for the question, Alderman Kerrigan. With respect to the planning application before you, this is a reserve matters application for a single data center building. Prior to this, there was an outline planning application that secured permission for 4 data center buildings. So when we progressed with the planning application, at the time that we made the application for reserve matters, we had details only for the single building. So it is our intention, or indeed the applicant's intention, to return at a later date with a fresh application and build out the remainder of the site. And part of that process will be looking at the car parking allocations required for those buildings and making sure that DFI roads and indeed planning officers are content that everything is policy compliant.
Thank you for that, Mark. Have any further questions for Mark? Mark, there's no more indicator speaker, so thanks very much for attending today.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Okay, members, is anybody any questions for Rosie on this? No, doesn't seem to be any questions for Rosie. Okay, so members, there's a recommendation there in front of you to approve this particular application. So it's over to yourselves there now for any further comment that any of you may have. And then I'll ask if there's any proposal. Thank you. Councillor Loke.
I want to propose that we accept this recommendation.
So we have a proposal for Councillor Lowe. Councillor Mooney.
Thank you, Chair. Happy to second the proposal from Councillor Lowe to approve the recommendation. And based on what I've heard from the officer and from Mr. McIver, the agent, happy to contenting to second the application. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Mooney. Is there any voices against that proposal, or can I take it the way I'm reading the room here? Everybody seems to be for it. Are you in agreement with that? So, proposal from Councillor Rogan, seconded by Councillor Mooney, has been accepted by the committee. Thank you for that. Okay, members, bringing the meeting to a close, and thanks for attending, and safe home to everybody. Thank you.